Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Late Night Snacks. I am your host today, DaWanda, and I am here to bring you my top 10 go to Stephen King books. These are books that I have read over and over and over again that I always seem to gravitate towards when I can't find anything else to read. So I wanted to share this with you guys just so you have an idea, because I am a big Stephen King fan. Have been ever since the early 80s. Yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys the list. I'm going to share my screen. We'll get this set up and we're going to do this. And if you guys like streams like this, please don't forget to thumbs up the stream, like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss anything, because we upload multiple times a week. We have many different kinds of content that we offer. So there's got to be something out there for any of you. So just feel free to come check us out. And so without further ado, these are 10 books that are my go-to Stephen King's. So here we go. So, first up, we have the very first book that he ever wrote, which is Carrie. It was written in 1974. And this is what started his writing career right here. And I will read you guys the basic synopsis. It's the story of a misfit high school student, Carrie White, who gradually discovers she has telekinetic powers, repressed by a domineering, ultra-religious mother, and who tormented her, and peers who torment her at school. Her efforts fit to lead to a dramatic conclusion during the senior prom. Okay, so first we have Carrie. And now oh, and how did I guess it wasn't gonna? There we go. And the next one up on the list, we have The Shining. This is one of my all-time favorites. This one was published in 1977. There's been several adaptations as far as movies are concerned and miniseries. And this is a very chilling read. So the synopsis on this one is: Jack Torrance, his wife Wendy, and their young son Danny move into the Overlook Hotel, where Jack has been hired as a winter caretaker. Cut off from civilization for months, Jack hopes to battle alcoholism and an uncontrolled rage while writing a play. Evil forces residing in the Overlook, which has a long and violent history, covet young Danny and his precognitive powers to exploit Jack's weaknesses and try to claim the boy. Okay, so that's book number 2. Now, for me, this is the book that started my love of Stephen King, because this is the very first book that I ever read. And I currently have the uncut version. So this is the original version right here. This one was published in 1978, and this one is no longer in print. The one that I have is this one. This one is the complete and uncut edition, which was published in 1990. And this is my favorite book, because it's and believe me when I tell you, it's extremely long, but it is definitely worth the read. This is basically the battle between good and evil. And in the times that we are right now, I think this is an appropriate read, in my opinion. So the synopsis on this one is: one man escapes from a biological weapon facility after an accident, carrying with him a deadly virus known as Captain Trips. The rapidly mutating flu that in ensuing weeks wipes out most of the world's population. In the aftermath, the survivors choose between the following elderly Black woman. So they either go and follow the elderly Black woman to Boulder, Colorado, or the dark man, Randall Flagg, who has set up his command post in Las Vegas. The two factions prepare for a confrontation between the forces of good and evil. Okay. Pet Cemetery. This one was published in 1983. And this book, to this day, still creeps me out, but it's a really good read. I highly recommend it. So the synopsis on this one is: the road in front of Dr. Lewis Creed's rural Maine home has frequently claimed the lives of neighborhood pets. Lewis has recently moved from Chicago to Ludlow with his wife, Rachel, their children, and pet cat. Near their house, local children have created a cemetery for the dogs and cats killed by the steady stream of transports on the busy highway. Deeper in the woods lies another gateway to an ancient Indian burial ground, whose sinister properties Lewis discovers when the family cat is killed. It's also a really good movie. Okay, so now we go to It. Anyone who hasn't read this book is in for a treat, because this one will keep you on your toes. So this one was published in September of 1986. And the synopsis on this one is: a promise made 28 years ago calls 7 adults to reunite in Derry, Maine, where as teenagers they battled an evil creature that preyed on the city's children. Unsure that their losers club had vanquished the creature all those years ago, the 7 had vowed to return to Derry if it should ever reappear. Now, children are being murdered again, and their repressed memories of the summer return as they prepare to do battle with the monster lurking in Derry's sewers once more. Okay. Next up, we have Misery. Okay. Yes, as you can tell, these are all later releases, but I tend to flock to those. But this is just a really, really good read. This one was published in June of 1987. Okay, the synopsis on this, just in case there's anyone out there who hasn't read the book. Novelist Paul Sheldon plans to make the very difficult transition from writing historical romance novels featuring heroine Mystery Chastain to publish literal fiction. Annie Wilkes, Sheldon's number one fan, rescues the author. Rescues the author from a car crash and proceeds to nurse him back to health. It's very hard to explain. The movie is really good as well. So I highly recommend this book for anyone who hasn't read a Stephen King book. This should probably be one of your first. Okay. So this is currently number 6 on my list. And up next, we have Dolores Claiborne, which is a really, really good read as well. I don't think I've ever come across a book of Stephen King's that I've been disappointed with. So, Dolores Claiborne was published in 1993. And the synopsis on this book for anyone who hasn't read it is as follows. Suspected of killing Vera Donovan, her wealthy employee, Dolores Claiborne tells police the story of her life, hearkening back to her disconjointing marriage and suspicious death of her violent husband, Joe St. George, 30 years earlier. Dolores also tells of Vera's physical and mental decline and the loyalty to her employer, who has become emotionally demanding in recent years. Okay. Now, up next we have Rose Madder. Now, I read this one really quick, and I think I read this one in about a week's time. It's a very sad story, but it is very well written. So this one was published in 1995, and here is the synopsis on this in case anyone hasn't read the book. And so we have Rose Daniels flees from her husband, Norman, after 14 years in an abusive marriage. During one bout of violence, Norman caused Rosie to miscarry. Their only child escaping to a distant city, Rosie establishes a new life and forges new relationships. Norman Daniels, a police officer with a reputation for cruelty, uses his law enforcement connections to track down his wayward wife. Okay. Now, here we have, this is book 9. Now when this originally was published, this was published in 6 different parts. that were released. One part was released once a month until all the parts were finished, and that was how you read the book. They basically would release one part of the book once a month for 6 months, and then you'd have to wait until the next month to get the next part. And of course, this is the Green Mile. And when the movie came out, that is when they took all 6 parts of this book and they combined them all into one volume. I currently have both of them. I have both versions of it. And let me tell you, when this book first came out, it was very frustrating because I read very fast. And so I would read the first part and then I had to wait another month to get the next part. So for those of us who are kind of speed readers, when they get really interested in this, yeah, this was a bit frustrating, but it is a really good read. So these are the parts that came out when the book was originally released. We have part 1, which is called The Two Dead Girls. Then we have part 2, which is titled The Mouse on the Mile. Part 1 was published in March of 1996. And then they published each part after that in consecutive months in 1996. Then we have part 3, which is Coffee's Hands. We have part 4. Part 5. And part 6. Now, unfortunately, the serials that were broken up into the 6 different parts, you cannot get these anymore. They're no longer in print, which I think is sad because I actually like them in the smaller form. So those are the ones that are broken into parts. This is the one that was published in 2000 when the movie came out, so that everybody could read it in its entirety. Okay. And the nice thing about this one is that this edition includes a foreword, a letter by King, the new introduction of Stephen's agent. So that is number 9. And the last one on my list, I had to put this one in here, is Dr. Sleep, because this is the continuation of The Shining. This book is all about Danny as he's grown up. And this is a really, really good read. I highly recommend this one. So, yes, I'll give you guys a chance to take a look at this if you want to read it. This one was published in 2013. And so there we have it. These are my top 10 go-to Stephen King books. I highly recommend that you pick up any of these and give them a good read. You will not be disappointed in any way, shape, or form. And I would love to hear in the comments any opinions that you guys have. Are there any other Stephen King books out there that maybe you enjoyed more, or you think that maybe I haven't read? So just let me know down in the comments, because our channel is all about conversation and I'm really interested to find that out. So I am going to stop sharing my screen now. And we'll go back. All right. So, like I said before, that is my list of my 10 books, my 10 Stephen King books that I always gravitate towards when I really want something really good to read. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed making it for you, and we will definitely catch you guys in the next one. Remember to please leave us some comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell, and everybody please take care of yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.